In the metals quadrant, taking a look at the September copper futures, which were down over 5% on the lows today, finished today a little bit better, down 4.8 or so, close to that down 5% level. And copper had its second worst day of the year. You'd think being down that much, it'd be the worst day of the year. But June 23rd, copper was actually down 5.2% at settlement. So on the low today, 3.400 was the low. That was down 5.66% from the prior settlement of 3.6040. And then on the high side of things, we were actually up a little bit today, a little bit better than 0.5% at 3.6235. But as I mentioned, finished the day in a pretty bad way for those who are long copper. Now, recession fears are hitting commodities pretty hard, and it's economic slowdown, just assuming there's going to be a depression in demand if we get into a recession. And this is likely to be true, so it's likely that these fears are not unfounded. You've got all commodities lower today. Crude oil was getting crushed today, and yields overall were falling dramatically today. When you look across the yield curve, it's not just U.S. yields, but starting with the U.S. yields, the 2-year fell 3 basis points on the yield side, the 5-year 9 basis points, the 10-year 8 basis points, and the 30-year 9 basis points lower. And the yield curve itself, 2s10s, for example, went from 4 basis points on Friday to inverted today by 1 basis point. So all of that put pressure on commodity, but the dollar rallied anyway. So that also puts pressure on commodities. Usually if yields fall, the dollar doesn't have such a strong day, but the dollar rallied and had its best day against the euro currency since March of 2020. It also rose 1.3% against the British pound, who's having political struggles there with some of Boris Johnson's cabinet members resigning. Canadian dollar was down almost 1%, 95 basis points with crude oil weakness. And the Swiss franc was also down exactly that much, about 95 basis points. And then also 1/3% against the Japanese yen. The dollar was stronger against all of those currencies.